I declare that the 509th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Good morning. I am Dr. David Wilkinson, Provost and Vice President Academic at McMaster University. This morning I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and of welcoming you all to the Convocation ceremonies today. Before we start our formal program, may I first ask everyone in the hall to switch off any electronic devices that may ring, beep, or otherwise disturb the ceremony. I would now like to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Lynton Wilson, to make his opening remarks.
Please be seated. A very good morning to you all. President, Vice Chancellor, Provost, Deane McNutt, Dean Crosta, Dean Yates, Dean Heidebrecht, our honorary graduate, members of the Platform Party, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to this 509th Convocation of McMaster University. To those graduating, you've reached an important milestone, an exciting milestone in your lives. Many of you will begin careers, embarking on new journeys. Some of you will be continuing your education, training, or preparation for more advanced or specialized activities. My congratulations and very best wishes to each and every one of you. To the parents, grandparents, family members, spouses, and friends here today, you may bask in reflected glory and take pride in the accomplishments being recognized in this convocation. Congratulations to you as well. To our faculty and staff, today marks tangible recognition of your efforts, particularly the successes of your students evident in this ceremony. Thank you for your many contributions. I wish you all an enjoyable morning.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Patrick Deane, President and Vice Chancellor, who will be presenting the honorary degree recipient.
Mr. Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Sheila Fraser. Sheila Fraser served as Auditor General of Canada from 2001 to 2011, after working for 2 years as Deputy Auditor General. The first woman to hold the position of Auditor General, Ms. Fraser was instrumental in ensuring that Canadian parliamentarians had one of the most important tools of an effective democracy, objective and reliable information on government activities, information that helps hold the government accountable for its stewardship of public funds and the public trust. She also promoted the use of plain language in the office's work and made Canada the first country to request an international peer review of its Legislative Audit Office. As a result, in 2004, a four-nation team completed a highly favorable report of our country's highest audit institution. Ms. Fraser's work raised the public profile and influence of the Office of the Auditor General, perhaps most memorably with the office's work on the sponsorship scandal and her personal involvement in reviewing the Canadian military mission in Afghanistan. One significant measure of Ms. Fraser's exceptional work in establishing the public credentials of the office was her appearance on the Reader's Digest list of most trusted Canadians in 2011. She finished in third place in that poll, just ahead of Michael J. Fox, and just after Mike Holmes. Ms. Fraser became a chartered accountant in 1974. Before joining the Office of the Auditor General, she was a partner with Ernst & Young, where she was responsible for a wide range of private and public sector clients, including the Auditor General of Quebec and several departments of the Government of Quebec. Long active in her profession provincially and nationally, Ms. Fraser served as chair of two different committees of the International Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions. These were the Working Group on Environmental Auditing and the Subcommittee on Independence of Supreme Audit Institutions. She also chaired the Public Sector Accounting Board of the Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants and serves as a member of the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. In addition, Ms. Fraser has been a valuable corporate and not-for-profit board member with organizations like Manulife Financial, Bombardier Inc., and the Ottawa Food Bank. For her noteworthy service to the auditing and accounting professions, she was named a Fellow of the Ordre of Comptables Agréés du Québec in 1994 and a Fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ontario in 2000. She received the Governor-General's Medal commemorating Canada's 125th anniversary in 1992 and was a 2009 recipient of the ICAO Award of Outstanding Merit, the highest honor that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ontario can bestow upon its members. Ms. Fraser has also been awarded honorary degrees by more than a dozen Canadian universities and received the Faculty of Management Achievement Award from McGill University. Mr. Chancellor, Sheila Fraser has both embodied and promoted the values of accountability, transparency, and protection of the public interest. She has been this country's most visible and credible champion of the public trust, and in serving that role, she has strengthened our governing institutions and processes, and with them, our nation. I ask, Mr. Chancellor, that you recognize these contributions to Canadian society by granting Ms. Fraser the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Sheila Fraser, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa in McMaster University with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would now invite Dr. Fraser to deliver the Convocation address. Dr. Fraser.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, faculty and staff, honored guests, graduates and parents, ladies and gentlemen. I am deeply honored to receive this degree from McMaster University. As some of you may know, I grew up on a dairy farm in Quebec, a very small place called Dundee, where there were more cows than people. My parents impressed upon me, my 4 sisters, and my brother the value of education. Well, 2 of my sisters are doctors, 1 is a lawyer, and the other 3 of us, believe it or not, are accountants. I know that my parents would have been very proud to see me receive such a prestigious honor from McMaster, just as I know that all the mothers and fathers here today are proud of this year's graduating class, not to forget, of course, the grandparents. So my congratulations to all of you. Here you are, degree in hand, ready to start your next adventure. Some of you may be continuing your education, some of you may be heading into the work world, and some of you may be unsure of your next step. Even if your heart is set on a particular direction, you should expect that there will be a few twists and turns along the way, and you might even want to welcome the unexpected. Take it from me, good things can happen if you stay open and attentive to opportunities. After I finished my degree in commerce, I was looking forward to a long stay with a major accounting firm in Montreal. Early in my career, however, I had the chance to transfer to the Quebec City office. My French wasn't very good at the time, but I grabbed the opportunity and immersed myself in a new environment. It was tough, but I learned. And it turned out to be a decision that conferred many gifts, not the least of which was greater understanding of and appreciation for the bicultural nature of our country. And my experience in Quebec was an integral and essential part of my career, leading me to become Auditor General in 2001. It was an honor and a real pleasure for me to serve as Auditor General for 10 years. It was filled with experiences and challenges that I never could have imagined. And I can tell you that it was an awfully long way from driving that tractor on the family farm. Today, I'd like to share with you some of the things that I've learned along the way. First, as I mentioned earlier, stay open to opportunities. I know that some will tell you to plan out your careers, decide where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. I encourage you not to limit yourselves. Do not be so fixated on a goal that you miss a chance to go in a new direction. When I graduated from high school, there were basically 2 career paths for women, teaching and nursing. I had originally thought I would become a math teacher. I can tell you that if I had remained fixed on that path, my life would certainly have been very different. Secondly, stand up for what you believe to be right. The thing that surprised me the most when I was Auditor General was not that some people, and I would stress there were a very few, misspent public funds or treated their staff badly. No, what was surprising and very troubling was that other people knew and did nothing. They were afraid to question authority. During your working life, you may find yourselves in situations where the right thing to do is to speak truth to someone in authority, truth that it may imply a good dollop of criticism. And if so, I encourage you to muster your courage and stand up for what you believe to be right. And I strongly encourage you not to remain in an organization that does not treat its people with respect. That organization cannot be successful over time, nor can you. And my last piece of advice, one that is dear to my heart, remember to have fun. We all spend so much of our life at work that we owe it to ourselves to take pleasure in our efforts. Work has to have more meaning than a paycheck every 2 weeks. When I started out, I was determined to enjoy my work, and I made a promise to myself that if I didn't enjoy it, if I wasn't learning and it didn't motivate me, I would change jobs. And I would encourage you to make that same promise. Let me end with one final thought. If you approach your life with the goal of remaining positive and determined, learning all you can, doing your best, holding fast to your values, and believing in your own unique gifts, you won't have to wait to find success. you will already be successful. Again, my thanks for the honor that has been bestowed upon me today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fraser. Your advice is timely and certainly, I'm sure, taken to heart by many in this audience today. There's one other thing that your life and career has shown, and that's the importance of public service. And I would suspect that you might join me in encouraging some of the graduates, graduands, graduates to be here today to think about public service in their career possibilities. There are many interesting and important responsibilities to be carried out by public servants across this country, both federally, provincially, and indeed municipally. And I would invite you to think about those career possibilities. And Dr. Fraser's career is an example that you might want to consider following. Thank you very much again, Dr. Fraser.
Dr. Patrick Deane will now come forward to present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduands please stand? Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit you to your individual degrees in McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all.
Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, may I also request that you confer the appropriate degrees in absentia upon all those candidates who have successfully completed the required course of study but who are not present.
I declare all these degrees conferred in absentia.
Graduates, please be seated. In turn, I ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you into the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduates, you would hold your applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy: Laura Margaret Strachan. Scott Drowley Fitzpatrick. Gavin Eugene Guy Jones. Jean Tang. Mohammed Ali Warsi. Michael Michael Patrick Willand. Siamak Salari Sharif. Ding Zheng Yang. Summer Laila Abdel Fattah. Margaret Christine Kernbauer. Joseph Shane Love. Amr Abubakar Nasser. Tarani Tonga. Laila Al-Khalfan. Salah Shiraya. Christopher Mark Gunn. Mahaswaran Subramaniam. Jennifer Robin Adese. James David Collins. Nicholas Howard Ferdinand Holm. Robin Elizabeth Sofer. Sarah Trimble. Susanna Wilcox. Guo Zhenjun. Tanaz Javardi Dudran. David Gordon Arthurs. Scott Graham Olson. Patrick Richard Bondi. Matthew John Grillette. John Otto Kingman Phillips. Adam Atkinson Reggio. Amanda Lorraine Coles. Joanne Michelle Hertz. Carol Ann Phillips. Jennifer Rose Vermillier. And Eric John Engler.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree of Masters of Business Administration. Nagam Abul Naja. Jody Catherine Easton. Debbie Ho. Lane McLean. Gurleen Sagu. Anastasia Chumak. Anthony Van Troost. Health management. No. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate of the degree of Masters of Health Management. Stephanie Carolyn Ralph.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree of Master of Communications Management. Rebecca Edgar. Karen Leila Humphreys Blake. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Arts. Magna Mitchell George. Andrea Dawn Gadsden. Laura Melanie LeCoux. Catherine Marianne Denkers, Talmo Medeiros, Louise Mary Savokia, Barbara Nancy Scarfo, Dwayne Riyad Ali, Deirdre Erica Mary Andrews, Kelly Michael Ann Bacon, Leanne Alicia Shin Fook, Donald Cochrane, Caitlin Lee Duarte, Nicholas John Hessler, Ian Jarvis, Taylor Moore, Megan Mary Martha Newland, Lauren Elizabeth Waters, Cara Elizabeth Whaler, Thomas Werker, Melissa Ann Aceto, Catherine Elisa Marie Bernardi, Gregory Fenton, Evan Johnston, Jocelyn Mary Smith, Sean Stevenson, Anthony Alexander Walker, Allison Watson, Alisa Watt, Akosa Befilwa Andem, Karen Elizabeth Armstrong, Graham Andrew Ball, Stephen Paul Burnett. Alexander Joseph Brazil. Victor Chichman. Ian Christopher Donegan. Grant Gibson. Sarah Louise Hussick. Radek Montgomery. Alicia Alexandra Riolino. Rajiv Javindra Singh. Jacob Edward Travis. Sarah Ann Tuck. Kevin Chu. Laurie Ken. Leah K. Bailey. Jessica Mary Boland. Christine Erin Bogler. Laura Isabel Buzzard. Emily Farrell. Sarah Elizabeth Little. Elizabeth Rita Kathleen Moore. Carrie Elizabeth Taylor. Fiona Mengiento. Derrida Elsie Warden. Claire Elizabeth Wall. Alicia Firoz Dosa Madhani. Seha Monzavi. Don Alston. Rami Abu Zidane. Khawla Uma Bengazi. Alexandra Rose Crowder. Abimbola Bolatito Fajombi. Doran Lee Hodge. Kashfa Mahmood Khan Chowdhury. Jayant Lukaj. Kayla Mashkur. Amber Nicole Merucci. Sean Pittman. Adnan Raja. Nicole Alexandra Rallis. Jillian Mary Round. Catherine Duchak. Vanessa Mitchell Foreman. Stacy Ann Harkins. Brian Ashley Ludlow. Heather Dita Felicia Helen McNeil. Melissa Dawn McVie. Daniel Jonathan Rowe. Amanda Victoria Switzer. Matthew Brandsmith. Yelena Cabro. Andrew Charters. Andrew Peter Cottrell. Sherry Patricia Crawford. Sarah Elizabeth Dalsinger. Brittany Robin Gata Vickers. Ross Yuskamp. Charles Nicholas Morrison Kellner. Jacqueline Lee Kirkham. Francesco Anthony Murillo. Tim Mueller. Fayal Khan Niazi. Nora Ottaway. David Michael Pridan. Van Rickson Tan. Elizabeth Diane Todd. Mark Unger.
Nicholas Alexander Bernards. Patrick Philip Chiaski. Tyler Joseph Donnelly. Adam Taylor Kingsmith. Ira David Sloan Louis. Sean Marshall. Derek Michael Taylor. Sandra Yao. Maxim Leonov. Delara Basel. Curtis Wayne Burns. Michael Rajesh Christie. Michael David Klus. Kate Elizabeth Daly. Justin Day. Jesse Frimpong. Khaled Gadai. Slobodan Grimusa. Mark Anthony Garisi. Velika Louise Kitchen. Joshua Beasley Landau. Domenico Vito Mancini. Fanny Sigamani. Lance Pollock. Abdul Kadir Ugur Poyraz. Stephanie Elizabeth Prince. Sasha Safai. Kristen Stevenson. Eleni Saliki. Andrea Vuokolo. Nicole M. Guerriero. R. Nicole Waddington. Heather Ann Baxter. Carmine Ciccone. Pamela Gillum. Sean Kidd. Muntasir Massam. Kirsten McLaughlin. Joelle McNeil. Kathleen Ann Steves. Rachel Elizabeth Baker. Paul Gabriel Bocking. Guo Chen. Yan Lau. Norman Justin Pace. Jasjot Ranji. David Martin Rennie. Diana Singh.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science. Jessica Arbor. Tiffany Deschamps. Nadia Maria Muir. Jacob Morgan. Tinu Sanjivan. Kanupriya Sharma. Shima Akhtar. Mariam Mogadas. Mustafa Samiyata. Yaning Hu. And Yan Chao Sun. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Social Work. Aisha Veronica Applewaite. Jennifer Annis Dunstan. Stephanie Goyert. Rebecca Shirley Hagg. Marilyn Rochelle Jones. Cameron Stephen McKenzie. Daisy Nyaboke Mwebe. Ina Rabinovich. Jennifer Town. Shannon Marie Testert. And Heather May Street.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Applied Science. Sagar Booch. Karen Mock. Ji Yi Luo. Evan Ma. Richard Mastragostino. Mark Thomas Rattle. Shamrock Arjumand. Ryan Cameron. Glenn George Provost. Mamit Erdem Koskin. Zara Ashuri Taluki. Yona Baskarun. Youssef Dinath. Masoud Gassimi. Na He. Chris Hanath Krishnan. Wenbo Sun. Yi Feng Wen. Jasper Arthur Zachary Brawley Hayes. Rachel Marie Savage. Ramiz Ashraf. Yunfei Bay. Mickey Chen. Imran Andre Deane. Lija Yang. Bo Dong. Mark Dempster Dubois. Muhammad Shahadil Islam. Hao Yu Lee. Dong Dong Wan. And Juan Yi Lee. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering. Jessica Aird. Kambar Ali Wadia. George Cherian. Abdi Muhammad Halain. Noor Man Hassan. And Gurjit Singh Matharu. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation. Ashwin Ayaswamy. Balakumar Bashkaran. And Mustafa Ghonim. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering in Public Policy. Ruben Fernandez. And Kristen Megan Powell. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Engineering Design. Tala Abbas. Walid Abu Nasif. Victor Cheng. Harmandeep Dhaliwal. Ryan Christopher Holder. Leith Hussain. Javed Iqbal. Abdul Ahad Jawed. Jiz Vashuth Napalil Jose. Cheng Li. Li Lee. Pavan Patel. Daniel John Romanko. Mohammed Salah. Omar Smaili. Daniel Voisin. Fadi Yusri. And Ran Zhang. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate of the degree Master of Engineering in Manufacturing Engineering, Ashikar Rahim Khan.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Arts Honors. Nicole Lee Anderson. Michael Angus. Natasha Arsenault. Timothy Blackburn. Bonnie Bonus. Stacy Allison Bowen. Chelsea Calder. Samantha Carr. Elspeth Ann Chalmers. Marissa Lucette Chateau. Kelly Michelle Christopherson. Adam Anthony Colilli. Adriana Corrado. Vanessa Hale Daunt. Peter Raymond Devchik. Stephanie Goldamez. Rita Heyday Garcia Leon. Mahalan Garuna Anedadi. Sherry Gopi. Sarah Grant. Rachel Hardy. Sheila Hartford. Caitlin Hayglass. Melissa Hebsher. Carly Ann Hoey. Melissa Ann Homer. Layla Khan. Kelly Marie Colkin. Hing Chun Andrick Ma.
Marina Diana Madzerevich. Mohammed Yusuf Malik. Jessica Martin. Lauren Elizabeth McCulley. Nathalie Moreau. Farah Musle. Stephanie Pemberton. Amanda Pitt. Maria Policelli. Matthew Quinteri. Justin Rodriguez. Benjamin Walter Arnold Smith. Emily Alexandra Soberg. Yu Kwang To. Andrew Spencer Turner. Sabrina Wassel. Sulakana Minasha Weerasinghe. Pauline Wong. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate of the degree Bachelor of Music Honors, Katrina Ro.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Social Work. Chantel Dietrich. Zoe Patricia Godfrey Davis. Monette Ludovivienne Navarro.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Commerce Honours. Liana Nina Maguyo. Tanvir Singh Bango, Romy Biso, Jia Yu Tsao, Sokret Chaup, Daniel Jacinto Culio, Samantha Cowie, Mark Chuchus, Victoria Ann Delben, Christopher Dickinson, Callie Kimberly Dwyer, Aindo Ayodole Elliot Egbuson, Pathiban Udu Balan, Joel Alexander Kruger, Sinthujan Kugan Endran, Oliver Hoyin Law, Samantha Lena Mincone, Keshore Nageswara, Quintin Donald Northcote, Laura Pavlova, Joanne Lee Prokop, Sean Chenyu Sheng, Samir Sodi, Christian Dorian Sudito, Marco Hin Chung Siye, Matthew Alexander Watt, Danyi Zhang, and Shen Jie Zhang. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Commerce. Brendan James Carson, Brian Matthew DeLeya, Salamin Isabel Galinsky, Walter Nicholas Koppelar, Chun Heng Liu, Kelvin Minte Liu, Laksan Sathi Savam, Pranavan Sivanyanam, Sanjeev Sivananthan. Stanley Yeung.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Arts and Science Honors. Kelly Margaret Campbell. Elizabeth Karen Von Dyke.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Arts. Halima Abdallah. Akua Andam. Jessica Ann Adamsek. Michelle Alves. Rumsha Akil. Emiliano Badillo Braven. Stephen Christopher Baker. Trisha Basu. Gemma Bayaborda. Stephanie Jessica Lynn Bianiak. Devin Lynn Burnett. Devlin Mason Damian Burt. Harrison Castelman. Jack Chen. Henry Jenglin Chung. Alexandra Mary Shikwan. Jessica Lind Cope. Alexa Ann Del Giudice. Francine Jarrell Josa. Katrina Español Miller. Jali Fang. Rebecca Dawn Farah. Chelsea Field. Thomas Michael Golightly. John Henry Gray. Bibi Shaza Hanif. Jeffrey Hallowell. Aaron Humphrey. Marguerite Jackson. Laura Magdalena Janey. Maheshwari Ortiz Kalyan. Ji-Hyun Kim. Jennifer Langrau. Jae Yuan Lee. Robert Ling. Juan Carlos Lorenzo. Ryan Lowe.
Santino Marinucci. Ashley Medeiros. Chloe Mills. Samantha Lindsay Morgan. Tiffany Elizabeth Dowling. Cayman Persicini. Braden Douglas Pettifer. Stephanie Teresa Romano. Dana Russell. Samantha Mary Lois Sanderson. Noriel John Joseph Santos. Alana Saju. Mani L. Scherter. Christopher David Seymour Shantz. Kathleen Rose Sheldrick. Nathan Andrew Short. Anthony Sinclair. Harshi Sritharan. Lulu Sun. Ian Duncan Alexander Thompson. Bridget Ita Toza. Anita Eva Wienendahl. Katrina Julia Vilks. Akif Wahid. Jeffrey Michael Waterfield. Thomas Kerr Wilkie. Gareth Williams. Samantha Lynn Wood. Lucas Charles Zadan. David Alexander Zilek.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering and Management. Zi Wan Lai. Naveen Rasia. Matthew James Snow Sheridan. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate of the degree Bachelor of Engineering and Biosciences, Jonathan Robert Monster. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Engineering, Sajid Shahrir Ahmed. Maureen Amanda Chan. Joshua Paul Dabo. Manjot Kaur Diol. Asif Iqbal. Matthew Daniel LaRue. Pratik Maratha.
Shibli Nisar. Philip Adam Principato. Sadi Rashid. Muhammad Sattar. Shaviz Sharifi. Jeffrey Ryan Thompson. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate in the Bachelor of Applied Science. Adrian Dinka. Manushi Jera. Robert Hamilton. Akif Wahid. Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate for the degree Bachelor of Technology. Yutsaf Banerjee. Ryan Alexander Cole. Ahmad Damasi. Leo Eichelman. Amer Iqbal. Roger Longden. Delvin Masilla Mani. Jonathan Paredes. Robert Caglia. Lucas Zerbachin. Todor Todorov Zvizkov.
Mr. Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the United Nations University Graduate Diploma in Water Without Borders. Rami Abdu Zaidan. And Kristen Megan Powell.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce to you Mohammed Al-Warsi, a PhD graduate of the School of Graduate Studies, who will be delivering the valedictorian address.
Thank you, Provost, Dr. Wilkinson. As you could see from my hooding, I just got my PhD and already faculty are running after me. Chancellor, President, honorary degree recipient, deans, esteemed faculty, families, friends, and graduates, hello. Now, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. These were the words of Sir Winston Churchill that I quoted in my high school graduation yearbook 17 years ago, halfway across the world. The end of the beginning. I was off to do my Bachelor's of Science at the University of Toronto, and 3 years later, when I was in Convocation Hall, I wondered, what is this? The beginning of the end? The end of the end of the beginning? When I was back in Convocation Hall a year later for my Master's of Science degree, I thought it must be close to the end by now. And then, after finishing medical school, I was on my way back to Convocation Hall, and then it hit me. This is the middle. It has always been the middle, and it will always be the middle. For 9 more years of post-secondary education, I was in the middle. Each graduation is a conclusion of a chapter, but like any novel, the story is unbounded by any word, line, or chapter. Our story does not end yet, and we'll never know how many pages there are to go. We are born, and we're given a title to our story, our names. The reviews on the back cover must be our eulogy. And in the middle is life. And as Rowan Atkinson points out, life is one of those things that most of us find very difficult to avoid. We will always be in the middle of our story. We graduates will continue on to our professions or our other degrees, and we must not wait for our degree to end or our next job up the corporate ladder to contribute to our story. Every day should be telling the story we want told. If there is a theme, an idea, or a passion that you want central to your story, make sure it remains revived throughout your life. Make this theme contextualize your past and light your future. There are two themes that were infused into my life that have helped me stay true to my story, and I'd like to share them with you. The first is this: anything is possible until proven otherwise. This idea broke down the walls of convention through my life. My ideas were no longer constrained by what people said were possible, but by what I could imagine possible. My MD degree, postgraduate training in psychiatry, and now my PhD in biomedical engineering become stepping stones towards the idea of transforming neuroscience. It is the pursuit of the barely imaginable that defines my story. The second theme is, if I have the ability to improve society, then I have a responsibility to do so. We are all privileged to have post-secondary education from a prestigious university celebrating its 125th year. Our education has given us skills and opportunities that few others have. We are in a position to influence the present and the future. We have the tools to make things better for our families, our communities, our cities, maybe even well beyond that. If we do not make this place better, then who will? We graduates have worked hard for our degree. We have been through struggles to get here, be they financial, social, or family struggles, but we are here now, celebrating the knowledge and skills that will shape our future. Let it also shape the future of society around you. Find a theme you can live for, even if it means rewriting the middle of your story. If you are unhappy with where you are now, throw in a twist and change the plot. It's never a bad time. Write a story you can be proud of, a story that others can be proud of. Make it a story that others will want to know about long after you're gone. This is the middle. Let's make it a middle to remember. Thank you.
Dr. Alwarsi, thank you for so admirably representing the hopes and aspirations of the graduates here today. And for all of you out there, I can assure you that this is almost the end. May I now call upon our Acting Dean of Engineering, Dr. Heidebrecht, who will present the Chancellor's Gold Medal.
Mr. Chancellor, as a representative of these scholars, I wish to present this year's recipient of the Chancellor's Gold Medal. This medal is awarded annually to the undergraduate student in his or her final year who ranks highest in scholarship, leadership, and influence. Giuseppe Del Gobbo is this year's winner of the Chancellor's Gold Medal. He will now come forward to receive his medal at your hands.
Congratulations, Giuseppe, once more. That's the Chancellor's Gold Medal. Good luck to you. All the best.
May I now introduce to you Mr. Mark Stewart, the President of the McMaster Alumni Association. Mark will deliver the Alumni Association address.
Chancellor Wilson, President Deane, Dr. Fraser, Provost, McMaster faculty, fellow alumni, honored guests, and members of the McMaster class of 2012. I'm honored and humbled to stand before you today to deliver your alumni address on the auspicious occasion of McMaster's 125th anniversary. I'm proud to say that I've shared the McMaster experience with two of the groups represented today. I did an undergraduate degree in history at McMaster, and I also received my MBA from the DeGroote School of Business. Now, when you step foot on McMaster campus in your first year, you embarked on a lifelong relationship that's going to carry forward far past today's ceremonies. It's not just that your degree will be permanently recorded on your resume and show up on your LinkedIn profile, but it's the changes in your thoughts, your actions, your attitude that McMaster had upon you as a person that'll become a permanent part of who you are. For me, my relationship with McMaster did change after I graduated. The professors that had an impact upon me, they became my friends and mentors, and some of them are sitting on stage with me today. My classmates became people that I could trust and do business with, and McMaster became a venue for me to pay it forward, where I can engage with students and help pass on some of the knowledge that alumni gave to me when I was a student myself. Now, as you know, the strength of any relationship is a direct result of the effort you make towards it. And personally, I want to share with you that my relationship with McMaster as alumni has been enriching and motivating, and I encourage you to do the same. This year, McMaster marked its 500th convocation ceremony. In over 500 convocations, more than 150,000 graduates have been granted degrees at McMaster in Toronto, on the campus in Hamilton, and more recently here at Hamilton Place. Upon walking across the stage, your fellow alumni spread out across the world, and today they can be found in over 130 countries. Now, each and every McMaster class is unique, and in truth, shares only two things in common. The first is the great potential you have as graduates of a truly great university, one that's commonly ranked amongst the top 100 in the world, or in other terms, the top 1% of universities in the world. The second is that we all share a history with McMaster, a familial connection, and a responsibility now to build on it, on the legacy that we inherited, and to continue McMaster's story of excellence. I think the most important thing you can do to further the McMaster legacy is to make a positive impact on the world around you, to contribute to your professions, your communities, and your families. Because your achievements reflect upon everybody wearing a graduation gown today and everybody else associated with the McMaster family. Across the world, our alumni are CEOs, they're executives, they're doctors, they're academics. At our association AGM this year, we were given a lecture by Nobel Prize-winning economist Myron Scholes, a proud McMaster graduate. In a couple of weeks, we're going to host a luncheon with McMaster grad Adam Van Coverden. He won his 4th Olympic medal this year in London. But just as important are McMaster alumni who have roles as mothers and fathers, neighbors, volunteers, and leaders of all types. Leadership doesn't require a title or a position, but just a willingness to take responsibility to make a difference. So now as your McMaster relationship transitions from student to alumni, this leadership opportunity remains. And the question becomes, what will you do to make the McMaster alumni community that you're now a part of great? The other thing you can do is stay engaged, and that's why the association is here. You have our convocation booklet. It describes the programs and opportunities you have to stay connected with your school and with your fellow grads. You're now automatically a part of MAC 10, and this is a new program that's specifically been designed to meet the professional, social, and intellectual needs of alumni within 10 years of graduation. So MAC 10 offers a host of events, career services, mentorship, online resources, and other ways to connect. You're going to begin receiving our alumni magazine, the McMaster Times, and we just launched a new online community for you to connect through. You can also follow the association on email, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and I want to invite you to join us at one of hundreds of events that we host every year, from here in Hamilton to across the world in Hong Kong. But today, we're here to celebrate your success as students and to toast to the promise of your bright futures as alumni. So today's grads, we offer you our most sincere congratulations and a warm welcome to McMaster alumni family, a family 125 years in the making. Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. Deane back to the podium to deliver his President's address.
Mr. Chancellor, Dr. Fraser, distinguished colleagues and guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding the Provost's encouraging comments that you're nearly at an end, I'm sorry to say that it's the prerogative of the President to have the last word, so if you'll bear with me. It's a great pleasure to be able to speak to you today on what I know is for everyone a wonderful occasion. For our new graduates, this ceremony represents the culmination of years of assiduous work, challenges, difficulties, and triumphs, and it opens the way to a future that will no doubt contain more of the same. Because these, in various measure, and along with loves, longings, fears, and friendships, are the ingredients of any life, however and wherever it is lived. I know you will apply yourselves to that future with at least the same strength of character that has brought you to this point. But in approaching what lies before you, you now carry the benefit of your McMaster education, all that it signifies, and all that it can make happen. Take note of the way in which that last sentence ended. Several years ago, during an advancement campaign for the university, we took as our theme a quotation from the 20th century Irish poet William Butler Yeats. This is what Yeats said: "Education is not the filling of a vessel, but the lighting of a fire." And all of us gathered on the platform here today, and all the members of the McMaster community that we represent, subscribe to the view that education is nothing if it is not a spur to activity, the awakening and nurturing of the power within each of you to think and to act beyond your present circumstances, to imagine what at present may be unimaginable, and to do what at present may seem impossible. Your education has given you no guarantees, I want to say to you today, but it has given you power, a formidable power to grasp and to shape your circumstances and your future. The parchments you've received today, the hoods which have been placed over your heads, these are the static symbols of something that is by its very nature active, destabilizing, and when we're living to our full human potential, it is perennially unsatisfied. You might want to call this thing the habit or the spirit of inquiry. But that leaves out another important consideration, which is our desire to command and to shape that which our habit of inquiry makes us want to understand. All great achievements, one might say, are in some way the result of the active and inquiring mind acting in concert with the shaping hand. In a great work of sculpture, a torso by Rodin, for example, or the Great Sphinx at Giza, we see the result of an intellectual interrogation of the possibilities of the medium expressing itself through the physical act of creation. Similarly, Frederick Banting discovered how to isolate and extract insulin when basic science and theoretical speculation on the cause and treatment of diabetes was supplemented by practical knowledge gleaned from his experience as a surgeon. What I said of your parchments and your hoods, I would say also of your degrees. They are tangible things, and they have practical purposes, but they are also symbolic of something paradoxically more real, more enduring, and more empowering to you, and that is the capacity to encounter your world and your future with the full force of your person and of your intellect, and through that encounter to shape and change what lies before you. When he admitted you to your degrees, the Chancellor noted that he was in the process of doing so, conferring on you certain rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. This is a very ancient formula derived from the earliest days of European universities, and it signifies that as a new member of the Convocation of the university, you acquire a voice and, directly or indirectly, a role in the shaping governance and direction of this institution. And this is a role that was just drawn attention to by Mark Stewart from the Alumni Association. I want to remind you, as your valedictorian did a little while ago, that with rights and privileges come obligations. There is an old Spanish proverb according to which God gave mankind this message: take what you want, and pay for it. The right to membership brings with it the obligation to uphold and support not only the university, but also, and more critically, the work to which the university is dedicated. And that work is to serve the good of society by the exercise of the inquiring mind and the shaping hand. Our hope today is that you will move on to the next stage in your lives profoundly capable and vividly aware that you are capable of addressing the great challenges of our society and of our planet. This is your obligation. And to go back to an issue raised again by your valedictorian, according to a study last year from Harvard University and the Asian Development Bank, only 6.7% of the world's population has a college degree. In the United States last year, 42% of 25 to 64-year-olds had achieved higher education, whereas if you look in the OECD countries, the figure is as low as 31%. Here in Ontario, as many of you know, our government has dedicated itself to creating the conditions that will enable the province to reach a 70% attainment rate. So, think of yourself as part of the 70%, or even the 42% or 31%, and the privilege of holding a degree will not seem so considerable. However, think of yourself as part of the 6.7% globally, and you will feel, you should feel, inordinately privileged. And you will feel, furthermore, the obligation that comes with that privilege. I suppose my point is not unlike one that Mark just made, and that is that the privilege of an education brings with it the obligation to lead. I'm a little embarrassed to say that, however, because there are few words bandied around in our culture that have been so drained of meaning as has leadership. We've even become used to thinking of leadership as a teachable subject itself. I wish it weren't true, but I recently heard someone described as a leader in the field of leadership. If you have a memory for these kinds of things, you might recall this too. I'm reminded of a character in The Simpsons from some years ago who received an award for outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. Talk of leadership so often lands us in a jungle of tautologies of that sort. In the last several months, we've had many opportunities to ponder and to compare examples of leadership in the political realm. The United States presidential election attracted the attention of Canadians in a way our own elections rarely do, and it provided two starkly different models for leadership, two very different visions for the American people, indeed for the world. Here in Ontario, the resignation of our Premier has required the province to focus on leadership as both a matter of record and a prospect for the future. While in China, a very different political system has entered into a challenging but very well choreographed period of defining leadership and naming leaders. In Ukraine, an election was recently concluded from which perhaps the most potent force for democracy and the heroine of the Orange Revolution, the former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko, was excluded by virtue of her languishing in jail, having been convicted on charges and in a process that have been condemned by the Council of Europe. And also in Europe, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel finds herself challenged to act both for the good of her own country and the broader good of Europe, and is in the process reviled by those she seeks to help. But less dispiritingly, in India a few days ago, the former persecuted dissident and now Burmese opposition leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, made her first visit to India in 40 years. Ms. Suu Kyi will be visited by President Obama later this month, further confirmation of her changed fortunes as person and as leader, and of her nation's altered position in the constellation of states. Aung San Suu Kyi provides a brilliant example of leadership understood not as an external attribute, but as a condition of intellectual and personal cultivation. Even under house arrest for 15 years, she was paradoxically able to fashion a new future for her country, one which we now see taking shape, but which was for a long time realizable only in her imagination. Ms. Suu Kyi, like Nelson Mandela before her, testifies to the enigmatic nature of leadership, its indomitability, its link to self-effacement, and also to the diversity of its forms. I want to conclude by observing that notwithstanding the variety of its manifestations, successful leadership has at its heart the same capacity for thinking and making, analyzing and shaping that is the essence and enduring part of your McMaster education. We do not expect that every graduate today will make headlines in the world press, nor that all will aspire to and eventually achieve high office. What is expected, though, is that confident in your capability, you will go through life applying your inquiring mind to your circumstances, and with your hands, making this glorious, piebald, complex, tragic, and perpetually changing world a better place, in and for itself, as the planet on which we are fortunate enough to find ourselves, and for all of us who travel together on its course through space and time. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Dr. Deane thought he was all that stood between you and lunch, but I am. It's been an eventful and happy morning. I thought there were some very interesting and useful comments in several of the remarks that were made by our speakers this morning. Timely advice and inspiration from a Canadian role model. Glass half full spirit of what I would call can do, must do from our valedictorian. And from the President and Mark, marking that your degree is really a beginning, and it bestows upon you responsibility for everything that you have yet to do in your lives. And leadership is clearly, as the President has said, one of those very important things. I realize that you have sat here now for more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I would announce that flowers that have been delivered for graduates will be available at the coat check in the main lobby. I'd ask you to please remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. And I'd ask you to rise now and join with me in the singing of our national anthem. After the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.